NAR settlement changes are going into effect, and here's how they may impact you. Welcome to Monthly Market Updates with Mel, focusing on the latest in the Indianapolis area housing market. All right, guys, so NAR settlement factors are coming into play today, July 1st. So really quick, this is not going to be a fun 60-second video. I'm going to try and keep it short. Needless to say, IAR has actually released quite a few form changes. We've added some forms, taken some forms away. The big gist is, I'm going to cover buyers first. Buyers, you now need to sign a buyer's agency agreement with an agent prior to even looking at a home. If you want a private showing, you're going to need a buyer's agency agreement signed. That is also signing that you agreed to pay that agent at closing a certain percentage or dollar amount. So you are entering into a contract with that agent with a buyer agency agreement. You do need those for all showings. You do not need those for open houses. You can go into open houses as you please. However, please be aware that that agent at the open house may have you sign a buyer agency agreement. So if you do get one, just make sure you look at the terms. Third, if you go through a website like Zillow to schedule a showing to look at a house, just know that they have to also have you sign a buyer agency agreement to see the house. And you don't know who the agent is when you sign that buyer agency agreement. So just be aware of those online websites and scheduling that showing. If you guys do want to see a house, contact us. We'll get you squared away. We can put terms in the buyer agency agreement that says, hey, this is good for 3 days or it's good for a year because you're just now starting your journey. Once it's signed, we're good, we're all set. The second is the seller now is, they've never been legally obligated to pay a buyer agency commission. However, now the listing contracts are going to be based pretty much solely on what that listing agent's going to be making. There is a box now that can say, hey, I do want to offer a buyer's agency agreement of X, where in the past we would negotiate the listing contract for not only to pay the listing agent, but then the co-op, meaning total commission. So 3% would go here, 3% would go there. So that listing contract would be for 6%. So what the settlement has done is it's decoupled those two agency commissions. So now the listing will just be for the listing agent and now the buyer will be for the buyer agent. But here's where things get fun. So what they did is they said, hey, we want to decouple this. But now they've brought the form, the buyer agency agreement. This has not been legally required in Indiana until today, July 1st. And with that agreement, a buyer can negotiate that a seller does pay their buyer agency agreement or their buyer agency commission. So sellers, just know that you're not off the hook for maybe a full 6%. It's just going to be negotiated differently and more so with the offer versus on the front end of the listing contract. So just know that that is still a thing and something that still can be negotiated in. So if you read a headline that says 6% fees are gone, yep, maybe on the front end, but just know that it could come at the back end, and that's something that we will help you plan for. Other things that the settlement has brought to basically our attention is that it's got a lot more forms and disclosures, and it's just going to open up negotiations on both parties. Feel free to ask us any questions. Don't hesitate to reach out. There are a lot of moving parts with this. The federal side is going into effect in August, and judge still needs to approve it. So things are still in the air. However, state of Indiana, we're implementing things as of today, July 1st. Commissions, they will not be advertised on websites and or the MLS. So commissions will no longer be advertised. However, like I said, decoupled commissions, everything's going to be negotiable. So that's it for the market update for now. We'll see you next month.